Hi everyone, Skidzo here, reporting with special correspondent Nicolas Cage from the front lines of Chaos Shuffle in the Fog. He's out here just armed with a sack ward and his wits, and I'm here to talk to you about being new in Dead by Daylight. Today's special report. You remember what it was like to be new in DBD? Some of you may have been new right when the game came out. So you were kind of new with everyone else and you played a game that was completely different. Some of you may be like me and you came in maybe mid 2021, because that was when I came in, like in spring 2021, right as the Trickster patch dropped. So I remember things like Old Dead Hard. I remember Old Haddonfield, you know, remember the release of Nemesis. I remember the anniversary event that summer, stuff like that. I remember Old Circle of Healing. I remember old medkits, etc., etc. Some of you may have come in recently. Some people have come in even with the alien patches. You know, you've come into a much more balanced game. But all the same, being new, you know, that's just it. You're new. You don't know what the fuck's going on. This game is a bit of a crucible of fire for new players. You are thrust into it. No matter what role you're playing. Killers have to deal with items, learning survivor play styles, different perks, stuff like that. Survivors, oh, that's the thing. I actually think survivors have a little bit higher of a knowledge cap. Okay, it depends. A lot of these things depend, but survivors have to try and kind of commit to memory while they're learning like every killer that they encounter and how to play them. Because like the tutorial of the game shows you Trapper, who is a basic M1 killer. And a long time ago, this would have been most of the killers that you dealt with, so it was kind of a fundamental thing. But nowadays, you've got a lot of short-range anti-loop, you've got dash killers, you've got Nurse, who just plays a completely different game. You've got killers that fly over things, you've got killers that block pallets, lift them back up, you've got killers that that do all kinds of things, that shoot tails over rocks, and so, you know, they got flamethrowers you gotta go grab. There's a lot of stuff that honestly, the game doesn't do a great job of telling you. I know some people will tell you that you can go and deep into the killer's lore page and look up at the top and read a description of their power, but that's actually kind of one of the things I wanted to get at in this video. I actually think that Dead by Daylight could do a better job of teaching new players things like this. You know, it's really kind of silly that you're expected to read all of that stuff and learn from that. Do what Marvel Rivals has, this little screen, and it has like a little short video that'll play showing you exactly how a character's power looks when it's used and how it works. I think that is really, at this point in the game, with the amount of things that you can run into, probably what this game needs. It needs to be able to tell you how something works. Even if they put it in loading screens, it would be huge. It needs to be easily accessible to the player. I would say that this is something for the health update, actually, for new player accessibility. It is so hard to get friends into this game. I have tried. It can be very overwhelming. Some people may disagree. Some people like to say that I had to eat the shit sandwich when I was first starting out. The game was hard to learn, and you should have to learn the hard way too. You should always want better for those who come after you. I don't know. Because at this point, I don't even resemble the same mindset of a new player. The other day, the thing that really got me started on this video, I saw this post on Twitter where somebody was essentially complaining that they're getting tunneled out every game with their Swift. And you know, they said that killers like always say that tunneling is a tactic, but they don't know how it feels to just have to sit there and watch your friends play after you got your ass just shoved out of a match. Initially, they got some really nasty replies from people telling them to basically get good. How could you die at 5 gens in a Swift? Yada, yada, yada. And then eventually, to the community's credit, more people started rolling in and actually saying nice things. Being a little bit more encouraging and trying to tell them, point them at, you know, information sources and things like that. But initially, people weren't respecting where this person was coming from as a new player. Their mindset, their mentality, where they're at as somebody that's brand new to the game. And the truth is, yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that the game needs to be designed around people that are new, because they don't know what's going on, and the onus is on them to learn the game. Yeah, I agree. But they're not going to if you're hostile to them. And that's what some people actually were. I've always hated the Dark Souls, like, just telling somebody, get good, scrub. Yeah, sucks to suck, because it's just like, dude, you're gonna be real lonely. I'm sorry, maybe that's not your concern, but like, some people have their set in their ways, their mindsets about a game, and the point of view of a new player is just something that they don't care about. They really kept trying to hammer it in that they were new and that they didn't understand. And to be honest, I understand that mentality. You know, when I was new, my first like 800 hours of this game were just playing killer. And whenever I did play survivor, I would just be swiffing with my friends. I'd get shoved out of the match really quickly, and I developed a shitty fucking attitude about stuff like that. Because, like, it does suck to just have to sit there. But the main thing that I would tell somebody is once you start actually solo queuing, which I started doing eventually, I fell in love with playing Survivor. I loved it. It was so much fun. And solo queue can be so much fun if you let it. I know it gets dogged all the time as the roughest mode ever. It's no, not blah, blah, blah. But you know, if you just go into solo queue matches with the mindset of I'm going to do everything possible that I can, and oh fucking well, if I die, you can learn a lot about how to play this game and get the fundamentals down. And I wouldn't say that I'm the best player in the world. I'm quite fine. I'm average, maybe even a little slightly above average. But I vastly improved when I started exclusively solo queuing, and that was partially because I got more time to play. I didn't have to sit there and watch my friends die after I got tunneled out at 5 gens. I got to go to the next game and get more practice in. Killer has that advantage. Killer has to contend with a lot of shit as a new player. They have their own mentalities that need to be respected, and they have their own frustrations, but they get more gameplay hours in actually playing than new survivors typically, because new survivors typically play with friends, in my experience anyway. And when they do that, they don't really learn very much because they don't get to play very much. This is, of course, my perspective. I learn by doing, not by watching. You can show me a video of something and it's not going to help me do it any better. You know what I mean? I have to do it. Once I start doing it, I get better. I get consistently better. But that being said, that's all beside the point. These people just don't know. They're new and they have to contend with that. And I want to see the Dead by Daylight community grow. That's why I think that a big part of what behavior needs to do is help new players. Not by nerfing things and making the game piss easy for them, but by genuinely just showing them the ropes in a better way than the tutorial currently does. Because it doesn't do a great job. It's kind of sad that you would essentially tell somebody, if you were actually trying to help them, yeah, fucking disregard everything in that tutorial except for generators, and it's just a way to get some extra BP to get you started. That's it. It's otherwise you're gonna learn. There are so many other things for you to learn in this game. Thousands of hours worth. It's one of the biggest things about DVD that I love. When I first got into it, it was so much deeper than I had initially thought it was. But that's also something that's rough to a lot of people. It's intimidating. It scares them off. And that's the thing that, you know, Killer is very similar. A lot of people report anxiety, frustration, worry when queuing up as Killer. And in some cases, part of learning Killer is learning the intricacies of different killer powers. You have like 45 characters and they have all kinds of wildly different powers. Some of them are way worse than other ones. There's a huge mix is the point. There's a lot to learn. And that's on top of like the mindset of a new killer player. When you first get into this game, you really don't think about things like flashlights or the survivors having an option or a say in whether or not they get hooked after you down them. Hell, when I was a new killer player, when I was very first starting this game, I'm embarrassed to say, I actually probably pissed off a whole lot of people and made them think that I was the biggest jerk in the fucking world. Because I actually initially in my first like 2 games thought that hitting them while they were on the hook was what made the bar keep going down. But you have mentalities to shed too. You know, when I first started playing things like flashlights and sabos and body blocks, I viewed that as like frustration, annoyance. You're trying to steal my quarry from me. I worked hard for this, and I would take it personally. That's also part of being in the new player experience in this game. It can feel frustrating, right? So many of you are probably nodding, you know, it can be really annoying. That doesn't often justify the way that some people act, because some people start to take it too personally. Me included in the past. I acted cringe as hell about some things, and I've changed since as I've grown as a player and I play both sides so much now that you know, it's a lot different. I still get annoyed, but it is what it is. I just understand what I'm looking at more. You know, I have a more clear picture. I can't really blame an individual for it. But enough of that. It's just really to get into the new player experience and what we're going to be facing with FNAF. There's going to be a lot of these people on both sides of the game when FNAF releases. It might be rough for some of them, right? I don't know how Springtrap's going to function as a killer, but I saw how people reacted to these new players in that Twitter thread, and some of it was pretty rough. Just telling them that they flat out suck, or just saying things like skill issue. I saw some people saying that they wouldn't even try to teach their friends anything about this game at this point. And I'm like, that's how far removed some people are from like being new to this game. They can't even imagine like a new player entering it, you know? And to be fair, I can't blame them. When I think about how to explain this game to my friends who maybe want to play and are new, I kind of seize up and think, oh God, where the fuck do I start? Genuinely, where do I start? Oh man, what side are we talking about? What are you dealing with? Who are you playing against or as? And so, yeah, I think that behavior needs to do something about that. I don't know if they can before FNAF releases. That's 3 months, and they've announced some killer redesigns, future plans, things like that. They've got the health patch. I think that a new way to facilitate new players coming into the game should be part of the health patches, to be fair. But I do wonder if maybe they have something cooked, because they have to know that they're going to have a massive flood of new people when FNAF hits. At the end of the day, I guess I just don't know what else to add to this. I just wanted to kind of rattle off about being new in Dead by Daylight, what it means to be new. Do you remember what it's like to be a new player in Dead by Daylight? Do you have any suggestions yourself for what this game could add? You know, I kind of like the idea of the Marvel Rivals kind of screen where it shows like a killer power and exactly how it functions to the player so that they can see it clearly, things like that in action. Maybe a similar thing with like killers, like a crash course in saves, a crash course in like how to bait them out. Honestly, a great tool, a great thing, teaching killers to do things like bait for pickups, to look around before picking up because of things like background player. There's a lot of things that you can run into there too. I don't want things to be dumbed down for the new player. I want them to have to learn, but I want to provide an environment where it's conducive to them learning. And maybe some of you have suggestions of your own, things that you'd like to throw out there, or maybe even just your experience as a new player and how it made you feel. Maybe you are still kind of new and you would like for somebody to give you some tips. If you would like that, hey, I could even make some videos about, you know, tips. I've thought about doing that. It would be kind of fun. It's an interesting topic to me because Dead by Daylight has a lot to learn in it. And some part of me does remember how it felt then, and it could be really hard. But hey, I wanted to say also 40 subscribers, and thank you so much for watching. I'm super happy to see that people are enjoying the things that I make. It makes me thrilled, and I'm so happy that 40 people have decided to keep watching. So I wanted to say before I end things that I appreciate you all, and please let me know what you think down below. GG's well played, and good luck in your next. Peace.